Hello everybody, my name is Neptune, and in this video I'm going to show you how I mixed one of my songs on my latest project. The song is Same Bitches, and this seems to be, at this current moment, the most popular song on the album, which I'm very surprised about, but yet still very thankful. I'll just be going over what I did and try to explain as best I can about why I did everything. So I might as well play it. I'll play the chorus.
Actor or a model, yeah, I've heard it all before. Turning around the corners, I can see them blending more. Good reputation, they are here by any call. Same bitches every night, same bitches all the time.
And that is it. This song was a blast to record, I can say, I suppose, because especially... re-editing it, I know that for a fact these drums are live drums. They may not look like it, but because they've been committed twice, and this has been committed 9 times. Is that what that means? I'm not entirely sure. And these are live drums for the chorus. And we got some percussion here. We got toms that you can barely hear in the mix, but they are there. It is very simple in terms of all of its production, which I thought there was lots more, but I suppose when I bounced out the beat, I just slapped all the synths together. And the synth is, a lot has been taken out. A lot of pretty much everything, and slightly boosting at 20k plus, which is interesting. So this was all of these frequencies were definitely clashing with the vocal, which is why it's all been taken out. But you can still hear it, so it doesn't matter if it sounds good, it sounds good, you know? And we've got some compression, which is doing how much? Hang on, let's go over here. God, they sound really fake. I forgot how fake they sounded. But that's not even doing a dB, that's definitely just putting into control, because it gets... As you can just clearly tell by the waveform, this is tiny and this is massive, so that's just controlling the big bits. And we've got the intro synths, which is just cutting some low end and cutting some high end, so it is pushed back in the mix. And again, so it's not interacting with the vocal. And we have an F6 with this preset on it, which basically is connected to the all Vox bus, which basically means every time the vocal plays this, if we it goes down, only affecting the mid frequencies so that the vocals have more space. That seems to be a common thing with my mixing anyway. And we have hats here. We have hats, which nothing is happening to these hats. They're just being turned down. Is nothing happening? Yes, because you can tell if something's been committed. But for the snare... that is definitely a real snare with a gate on it, which I must have committed at an earlier point, but we're cutting out the low end so it doesn't interact with a kick, and we're boosting some low end and a ton of highs, but it's alright. 10 dB, that might sound dramatic, but if it sounds good, it sounds good. Alright, and that was definitely just so it becomes more present. We've got another EQ cutting out some more, mids there, and then boosting even more high end. That's 7 dB, that's kind of ridiculous, but it sounds good. And we have a compressor doing a lot of compression. Alright, fantastic. But it's alright, sounds good. It's got high passes as well. Distressor. Decomp, that's drum comp, which is all the way down here, which is... no, that's not drum comp. Where is it? It's there. And it's an SSL. What's it doing? Like almost 8 dB. Alright, that's definitely just to slot it back into the mix a little bit, because it must have been too bright, even with me turning it down 5 dB. But that's alright. We've got a kick. That's definitely a light kick. Very mushy, but it sounds really good inside of the mix. And it's got a ton of highs boosted, you know, that click. All the mids getting taken out, and we're boosting a lot of the low end with a high pass filter, just so any unnecessary rumbles taken out, because that's what makes you unable to get louder. How loud is this mix? Well,
reputation, they are here by any call. cold. Same bitches every night.
Only -10. That's very good. That's what I was aiming for. I'm very glad I'm able to stick to myself. We've got Orion, which is pretty much this is the default preset, just to give it some more oomph and a bit of compression here. We've got an R bass at 32 hertz. Damn, adding some harmonic saturation goodiness with this R bass, and then we got a Pool Tech doing 20. So clearly, the lower end of this was getting affected even with all that 10 plus gain. But it's alright, I guess. We got perks, they're just turned down. Nothing's happening to them. And then the toms have got that multi-band on them. R bass at 50, and then Orion again, because definitely they are being faded out. You can barely hear that. That's definitely, you can hear the snare in that. And you got our roll, which is committed, so there definitely was something there, but I can't remember what's there. It's no longer there. Oh, we got a bass. We got some distortion to thicken it up a bit, even more distortion. Well, this is saturation now, to kind of filter it out into the mids and low end even more there. And we got a compressor completely taking out the transients. And then we got Jason Joshua's thing.
City on Angels, hasn't been too long. I remember bleed.
Kind of interacts with a kick if that's not there. So, you know, that's always good. But I suppose you're not here for any other la-di-da business. You're probably here for the vocals, as that's the main thing you hear. I've got Waves Tune Real Time as my preferred auto-tune. And it's in F major with the hashtag as its key. Always set your key. And for my vocal processing, we've got an RDSer. Alright. It's definitely just cutting out the th before going into the EQ, which is kind of simple in my terms. And we're just getting harshness, boosting up because just a little bit of presence, and we get more presence, getting the low end, and then high pass. Hey, and then we got an 1176. You cannot go wrong with an 1176. There's no such thing as over compression, just bad compression.
Angels, hasn't been too long.
Something like 10 dB. That's pretty gnarly. But we got another.
Angels, hasn't been too long. I remember bleeding.
That was hitting 7, so there's a lot of compression, but it sounds good and still sounds clean. We got fresh air, definitely adding more brightness and presence. We got Soothe.
Angels, hasn't been too long. I remember bleeding. No, I'm up.
Just slots it in, and we got Waves de-esser.
Angels, hasn't been too long. I remember bleeding. Now I'm up by the door. Never stuck in traffic.
Kind of took a lot of those S's away. That's interesting. But it's alright. And we got a flanger, which
Angels, hasn't been too long. I remember bleeding. Now I'm up by the door. Never stuck in traffic.
Just some width there, even though I've got a width thing here. That's alright. That's what happened. And the background vocals, I've got a Pro DS instead of a Waves DS, so that's definitely just to slot those background vocals in. What's this processing? We got auto-tune, we got lo-fi, so it sticks out a little bit more on the track, and then we got radio to filter out the ad-libs, and then we got a pan. That's cool. So let's move on to the features on this track. We got Juice here, Sipping Juice Luke. He never, in his entirety, I have known him, never sent me raw files, and this song is no different. Here we've got some raw files, not some raw files.
They want me back then, now they waiting.
Here, got reverb delay already in, so there's not much I can do. I can try and deverb it, but I liked how it sounded. It just needed to be controlled, because slots a lot nicer in. We've got Soothe on the high end, because it was more harsh and sticking out, so I just wanted to slot it back in. Remember, Soothe isn't a transient shaper. It can get rid of your harshness, but not your transients. It cannot do that. We've got a DSO, which is going all the way from 3.5 to 19K. That is a bit mad, but yeah, it's getting more of that harshness out. And we've got another Soothe. Maybe I could have EQ'd, but that's what I did for Juice. And then we got G Train, who's over here, who's the final vocal.
Every night. every day.
Oh yeah, and he's basically got the exact same processing except for this.
Every day, she be in the same place.
Just controlling that low end, and we got the same compressor, a little bit more release to let. We've got multi-band.
Every night, every day, she be in the same place.
Okay, that's to control everything up here. This is to add some more brightness back, and this is to compress everything again. And we've got Soothe. We got Fresh Air, Pro DS, and we got the Air Flanger again. And for his ad libs, just reverb. Pretty sure this is the default preset, just the mix turned down, which are panned to the left so it doesn't interact with his main vocal or the beat. And we got the ones panned to the right, which is basically the exact same, but just more reverb and cutting out the high end so it slots back. That's nice. And we got all of this, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the exact same. Because it is. The reason it's doing this is because it's got the gate on it, just to cut that background noise in. I don't know what room they recorded it in. Yeah, all of these are the same, but we got True Verb that just pushes back the ad-libs in the mix, which is always very nice. We have a single throw. It's more of a it's a reverb.
They're all around me when I pop.
Barely here. The processing, you got basic auto-tune, you got R-Comp doing upwards compression instead. You got Valhalla, which is doing the verb. We got more compression instead to control everything from the verb. And then we got an EQ just to cut out the low end. And then that is taken to my Vox, actually. It should have been taken to his, but he doesn't really have a Vox. So that's probably why I sent it to mine, not his. And we got Valhalla as the delays on all the mix. And then we got Echo Boy as the actual delays on the mix. Valhalla is the verb. With the Tory Lanez preset that I just frankly stole. It's here. We got some EQ. And then we got some Wyra Reflections preset on the micro shift just to widen it out. Got a widener. This is free, by the way. And then we got the width thing. And we got a doubler, which is a doubler 4, which is doing this. And we got parallel compression, which is taking out the S's, because when parallel compression adds, you're going to introduce a lot of the S's, and the high end is going to come back in because you're compressing and it's squishing everything into one big fat chunk. So take out those S's. Maybe that's a bit too much, but clearly I thought it was good. And what am I doing here? What is... all the stems are then put in here where a trim is happening and it's turning them down 6 dB. That's always nice. Got all my E effects. All my delays go here and all my verbs are here. My mix bus is simply God particle with the amount turned to 0. Maybe I could have turned it up, but I did not. And then that goes into the Pro C2, which is basically the mastering compressor I've used for this mix, basically. And I know this is chunking it down. Not doing too bad. It's doing 2.5 dB with a 1.5 ratio, a medium attack, and a fast release, which is always nice. And then it's going into this limiter. Just chopping it off, which is nice. This is a kind of a simple mix, actually. There's more complicated mixes to a degree, and that was same bitches. So it's pretty. It's got a lot of information in there, but not a lot of overly complex stuff. You just need to make space in the mix for your vocals to shine, basically, and make sure things are hard hitting. So I've been doing this for 15 minutes, basically. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you in the next video. See ya.